this show came out the same time, around the same time, obviously, as the House of Dragons. One thing that's different: House of Dragons has been fucking great. Obviously, they're on episode 3, episode 4 coming out this Sunday, and from the first episode, this show dialogue, visuals, like has just been super gripping since like the first episode. Now,
Mhm.
obviously, each person has their own opinion. This is my opinion. This is how I felt about the show. It gave me season 1 Game of Thrones vibes, and I really enjoyed it. Now, unfortunately, Dan, you weren't on when we did the review,
Mhm.
but I kind of want to hear your thoughts about
Mhm. Mhm.
about
I've been waiting.
Game of Thrones.
I've been waiting for what,
Do you
three,
want me to give
four
you the big one
episodes now?
again?
No,
Do you
no,
want
no,
me to
no,
give you
no,
the big
no, no.
one?
Before we do that, I want to say something about the Rings of Power and the House of the Dragon before I
Yeah.
forget. I was
Dan,
talking to Rudy.
Cobra Kai September 9th, which is tomorrow.
Appreciate it. Thank you very much, sir. Cobra Kai, check it out. It's great. Watch Karate Kid, Mr. Miyagi for life. But the I was talking to Rudy, right, and he was telling me that something very interesting. I was talking about House of the Dragon, and he was just like, yeah, you know that Lord of the Rings, like it's the Rings of Power, it's like getting reviewed. I was like, yeah, I know a little bit about that. He's like, yeah, did you also know that HBO Max put episode 1 of House of the Dragon for free on YouTube the same day Rings of Power came out? I'm like, no. He's
That's
like, you can look at
genius.
it. I was like, oh man. I was
Well,
like,
they
that's
put did
crazy.
they put it on YouTube or on? Because I saw it available on their website. They're like, you can go watch it
Maybe
for
it was on
free
the
on
website.
HBO
I want to
Max.
say he said YouTube. I could be completely wrong. He might have just said they gave it out for free.
No, yeah. So the first episode they released it for free, and I was like, this is genius, so they can get people to sign up because it was really
Yeah.
good.
And then
And I
that
was,
specific day, like,
is the first day Lord of the, oh, that's so smart. That's so smart. Good for
yeah.
them.
But yeah. So yeah, do you want my opinion on House of the Dragon?
Hell yeah.
Oh, you're
Lay it
giving
on
me
us,
the
bro.
one.
Lay it on us, bro.
I
I
wasn't
want to hear
expecting
it.
it.
I want to hear
Lay
it.
it down, lay it down.
Many years ago, I walked into an FYE.
The
I
year was
walked
circa 2015.
Oh, earlier than that. When did Game of Thrones come out? The original show.
Oh, dang.
It came out when I was in college, so
All right,
like
so I want to say maybe like the
2000.
end of the first season, I walked
Okay.
into an FYE
Okay.
and I bought something that I probably don't need. And then when I was there, they said, "Hey, we have the first episode of Game of Thrones on DVD.
2011.
It's for 1 penny." I was like, 1 penny. They're like, "Yeah." I was like, "All right, I'll take it." So I had the DVD, and then I remember going home and telling my mom, "Hey, you're a big fan of Lord of the Rings, as am I. This is a medieval type of setting. It's called Game of Thrones, and I hear it's really good. Let's watch it." Pop the DVD in, and Game of Thrones happened. And I'm sitting there with my mom. There's a lot of nudity.
Yeah,
Prostitutes.
there was.
Senseless
Tyrion.
nudity.
There's Tyrion, who's a little person just out there, just hanging with hoes, But it's
Fucking bitches. Yeah.
and I was just like, yeah. So after that was over, like my mom was like, I don't like the show. She said, me neither. And then I walked away from Game of Thrones. Then I remember trying to go back after talking to everybody, saying like, oh yeah, Game of Thrones is a great show. Let me go in there. Let me watch it. I go in there, and I make it about halfway to the first season. I'm like, you know what, man, this is just. I'm not feeling it. There's too much random nudity. It's like I understand why they're doing it, but it's excessive. It's unnecessary, and it's annoying, and it's taking forever for it to be interesting. And then that was it. And then I remember we did an episode on the podcast that said we're trying to get Dan to like Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
And by the end of the episode, I made it seem like I was gonna give it a chance, and I just shut the whole thing down. I was like, I'm never gonna like the show, blah blah blah. But I did at the end. I did in the end say I will give Game of Thrones one more chance in the future. I don't know, but one chance in the future, I'll try it again. Here we are. House of the Dragon comes out. I have to talk about it for the podcast. Family emergency. I can't be on the episode. So I saw the first episode with my mom being here. The person who was there when I first saw Game of Thrones, and there was
Oh,
too much
God.
nudity.
Okay.
So I'm putting on the show. It's like, what are you watching? I'm like, I'm watching House of the Dragon. It's a Game of Thrones spinoff, which she didn't remember. She's like, oh, let me see it. This looks like Lord of the Rings. I'm like, yeah.
She's consistent. She's consistent.
So I hit play. We're sitting there, and she's interested. She's interested in what's going on. There is random nudity. You have Damon having sex with a prostitute for way too long. Granted, it wasn't long.
I don't
Yeah, it
think
wasn't a lot this
random.
season.
I don't think
so-
it was random. I think she plays into the later episodes.
I
So
agree,
it's like-
and I would have replaced that scene with what happened immediately after. You didn't need to see him getting like a
Okay,
good
you're right,
6-7
you're right.
back shots. It could have just been him like just walking over to the thing. They both are obviously naked, and she's like, "What's wrong with you? I just spent this amazing evening with you." Oh, I don't. And they could have done the same exact thing without showing the sex scene.
They
Yeah.
could have done it like just showing like a candle or something, and you
Yeah.
hear it, and then they
Then
walk over.
then
Yeah,
later
you're
on,
right.
when they
You're
show
right.
him in the brothel, where they show like, yeah, exactly. Later on, they show him in the brothel, and then you have like all this crazy stuff going on. That one, it didn't upset me as much because
Yeah.
you're in a brothel. I understand that. That one,
Yeah.
I'm okay. It's like I don't hate the nudity. It's just like make it make sense.
Yeah.
Um, with that being said, it's a really good show. House of the Dragon is very interesting, very compelling.
Oh my god.
I'm enjoying it a lot.
Oh my god.
Dare I say, I am enjoying the show so much. And Eslam, get ready for this.
Don't
I'm
jinx
enjoying
it.
it so much. I went in. I was like, I'm gonna give Game of Thrones that last shot. I promised I was gonna give
Damn.
it that last shot, and I finished the entire first season.
How'd you
So
like it?
it's not bad.
It's good,
It's
man.
not
God.
bad.
I
Not
always
bad is
said you
where I'm
had to
at.
I know.
get past that first season. Which
Yeah,
Nah,
but
a shitty
see,
thing
see,
to
the
say,
first
but
season of
it's
House
right
of
one.
Dragons. This is how bad Lord of the Rings is. We're talking about Game of Thrones again. So the first season of House of Dragons is super political. Is super dialogue heavy.
which
There
I
are
always told you, I don't mind. And I remember everybody saying,
I
"Oh,
know.
but you have to be with political." I was like, I am cool
No,
with
no,
that.
no. That's
Yeah.
what's great about it. It's
Yeah.
giving me first season Game of Thrones vibe because that was the first season. It was Ned trying to figure out what the fuck is going on in King's Landing.
Mhm.
And like he's going through all this shit. There's very little action. He's like going to talk to people in the markets. He's going to talk to this blacksmith doing this, doing that. He's like, how the fuck is the Baratheon children all blondes when they've always been brunettes?
Yep.
Like he's doing like detective work, and it was so fucking great. And
Yeah.
like we're getting almost the same type of story here where not the same type of story, but like the same type of political like action about like the throne, and like you're getting to see how these characters are moving, like who's the little finger of this cast, like you know
Yep.
what I mean. And it's so fucking good, man. And
I'm enjoying it very much.
Rings of
And-
Power was a fucking
And
disappointment.
when they do show action too, it's like worth it too. Like
Yes.
you
Yeah.
see dragons, or like that last episode where Damon, was fighting those people in the cave. I was like, this is awesome.
And
I
me
feel
being-
like all
yeah.
the dialogue to get there like was worth it too. It's not just like okay, you're just counting the minutes until the fighting. It's like this. It actually is compelling, and that's how good House of Dragons is compared to Lord of the Rings. Like we're
Yeah.
One thing I do want to point out in true me fashion, is so you were just talking about that scene, Disco, with it's like Damon's going through and he's fighting the people in the cave, like the crab feeder and his crew, and it's like this badass scene. He's going out there, he's protecting the surrender and all this stuff. And me being who I am, of course, it's an action scene. I fell asleep. So it's like
He woke,
I
he
want
woke
to
up
see
when
the
Damon
talking.
had the head at the end. Like,
Yeah, I was like, I literally, I went back.
Dude had
I
half
went
his
back.
torso. Like Jesus
Yeah.
Christ. Yeah.
I went back, I rewatched it, and I fell asleep again. I went back and I rewatched that. I just hate action. I
Yeah.
can't help it. I hate action. So, I saw that, and like I said, anyway, long story short, well, not even short, it's long, but I enjoy it. I'm going there.
Dude, I'm so happy. I'm
Yeah.
so you have
Look
no
at Henry.
idea.
Henry in
You
the
made my
chat.
week.
He
Yeah,
he double gasped.
Yeah.
double gas.
He's surprised. I mean, I've been shitting on Game of Thrones forever.
Yeah.
Now I'm saying season 1 was good. I watched season 1 a little while ago. I have yet to start season 2. You know how I
Yeah.
am with shows. I'll like something and I'll never watch it again.
Yeah.
Henry, Made in Abyss. I enjoyed it. I never went back to it. I'm weird. But
it is what it is. I'm just
I-
happy you're enjoying House of Dragons.
yeah,
I
Like,
like-
because if you have to watch something for the podcast, it's
Yeah.
it's nice that it's enjoyable,
Yep.
and I'm glad.
Yeah.
I feel like
Thank
that's not
you,
going to be
Rings
the
of
case. Yeah, I was just about to say I feel like that's going to be the case with the Rings of Power, but hopefully it gets enjoyable. We'll see. But I've been taking like episodic notes of Lord of the Rings because there are like very important moments that I want to touch on when
I'm
we
sorry.
do the finale.
Yeah.
But my God, I can't wait. Ooh, I look forward to that shit every Sunday, bro. It's like appointment television is back, and
I'm not
Lord of
there
the-
yet. I'm not like
but-
I missed the last episode for a few days, then I finally watched
Yeah.
it. But yeah.
But I think Game of Thrones is the perfect show for appointment television. Like it's just I don't know, man. It's just to me that's what it is. So very excited about that. Well, that was a great conversation about Game of Thrones.
Yeah, and a little bit of Star
I
Wars too.
think we're done with Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
That show was just not it.
Yeah. Uh,
That's
so yeah, let's. You guys ready to jump into news?
Yeah.